Hi everyone, it's Beth from the Wilton Test Kitchen, and I'm back to share with you another piped buttercream flower as a part of our monthly buttercream piped flower series. We got so many suggestions last month about which flower we should do next. Thank you to everybody that sent a suggestion. We went with the poinsettia, and thanks especially to Lisa, Kimberly, Debbie, Allison, Louisa, and Lindsay for suggesting this very seasonal flower. We think it fits perfectly with this time of year, so that's what we're going to show today. To do a poinsettia, you will need a flower nail and parchment squares. At the holidays, poinsettias are normally red, so I have my red medium consistency buttercream icing bagged up with a tip 366. This is a leaf tip, and it's one of the ones that looks like a bird's beak. It's got the wider opening than the leaf tips that are more closed and have that line down the center. I find that these wider leaf tips, this one and the 352, which is a little bit smaller, work really great to make the poinsettias. I also have a bag of a different color icing, and for red it's usually yellow, with a tip 2, a small round tip. Now the first thing we need to do is put a dot of icing onto our flower nail just to adhere our parchment square. And then you're going to hold the bag, if you're a righty, at 3 o'clock and a 45-degree angle, and if you're a lefty, you'll be at 9 o'clock, but still a 45-degree angle, and squeeze and release the pressure as you pull out slightly. Rotate the flower nail 1/3 of a turn and repeat, and one more 1/3 of a turn to make your third petal. You'll see when they're all done, the petals kind of form a Y. Now we're going to repeat, layering another 3 petals in between the ones we've already piped. To do this, you're going to hold the bag at the exact same angle, 45 degrees, just positioning it in between the 2 petals you've already piped. Then you have petals that are evenly staggered all the way around. This is great because it really gives a big lift to the flower overall. A lot of icing comes out of the tip 366 at one time, so sometimes it gets a little gunked up. Whenever you see that it starts to get like that, feel free to just take a paper towel and give it a quick wipe so that the petals you make afterwards are nice and clean. Now we're going to make 6 petals in a circle around the flower. These are going to be much shorter, so your pressure will be shorter to compensate. But again, holding the bag at a 45-degree angle. At this point, you will slide your flower on the parchment square onto a sheet pan, because we're going to need to chill these flowers down in the freezer so that they release easily from the parchment. But first you need to add your centers. Red poinsettias typically have a yellowish center, so with your tip 2, squeeze a cluster of tiny dots around the center of the flower. Now if I needed to make a whole bunch of poinsettias, I would do all of my petals first, put them down onto my sheet pan, and then come in with my second color and do my centers. That way it's a little bit quicker, it's a little bit more like an assembly line, and it will get you through the process a lot faster than going back and forth between the bags. So poinsettias are typically red at the holidays, but you can also find them in white, and the pink ones are super pretty. If they're white, they generally have red centers. Pink can be a bunch of different things. Play with the color combinations and see what you really like, because they're just flowers and they can be anything that you want. And then pop these into the freezer for at least 15 minutes until they're totally cold. So buttercream flowers go great on all kinds of treats, and I just have some mini bundt cakes here. That's how I'm going to use my flowers. Give them a little sprinkle of confectioner sugar. It's snowing all over my cakes. And speaking of poinsettias, is it poinsettia or is it poinsettia? I've been trying real hard this entire video to say poinsettia, but my whole life we've said poinsettia, so I'm not sure if that's just a Chicago thing. How do you say it? Leave me a comment and let me know. I'm going to transfer these to my serving plate, and they're ready to be finished off with my flowers. So these are nice and frozen. You can tell because you can touch them and they don't move around or stick to your fingers. And that means it's going to be really easy to peel the parchment away and place them on top of your treat. That's how easy it is to do buttercream. It's fast, you don't have the drying time of royal icing, and the flowers come out just as beautiful. And a red one in the center to complete my little wreath of poinsettia covered cakes. So there you have it. There's another buttercream flower for you. I hope you enjoyed learning the poinsettia. 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 I'm not sure. However you say it, it's a lovely holiday flower. But we want to know which flower you want to see next. So leave me a comment below. I'll see you next month with a brand new one. Take care.